Hello everyone and welcome to Jump Up Supercast, the only podcast on the internet that's willing to say, the phrase "it's just a game" is such a weak mindset. You are okay with what happened, losing, imperfection of a craft. When you stop getting angry after losing, you've lost twice. I'm Will, and joining me as always, Brandon.
Animal Crossing, baby!
Ills.
Anyone who says it's just a game is lazy and a horrible human being.
Saf.
No one trusts that fucking raccoon. He is the Airbnb of package holidays.
And Muzamel.
Sponsored by Ninja.
By
And
Mixer.
Mike Bloomberg.
This is how we're announcing that we're going to
Monkey
Mixer, by the
Cobra.
way, is that intro.
Wow. Are we doing that?
No.
I don't know.
Don't be fooled.
Need to have that discussion.
I made the deal. We're also being sponsored by Michael Bloomberg at the same time. Don't worry, everybody.
Wow.
We're making 6 figures a
Finally
year.
getting some money in.
Yeah.
Damn.
Just that easy.
We that Popeye sponsorship really taking a
Eventually, the Popeye sponsorship will come.
So where are we getting all this money from? God damn.
It's-
I want a piece.
Backdoor shady
Brandon,
deals.
Stop keeping all the money for yourself.
Don't worry about it.
It's paying for Saf's bills.
And our Patreon supporters. Thank you guys.
Saf is homeless, and the little money that we get goes all to Saf. Fun fact. So every dollar,
Saf is recording this with
every
a
dollar
tin
that
can
you
and
put
a
into
string.
Patreon allows Saf to have one more meal for the day.
I don't want him to eat.
Yeah, that was only Moosey's decision. We were against it, but he vetoed.
I don't want him to eat either. If he dies, then we can move Breath of the Wild up.
This is true.
He's always thinking about
man.
it, folks. When you think he's not, it's always
Try
in
to
his
kill one of
brain.
mine. I'll kill one of yours.
I don't like this conspiracy right now.
There's not a conspiracy when we're telling you.
True.
But you know a person that people are conspiratorial about. Saf was doing it just earlier. Tom Nook, who's a friend of the people. You know, a nice guy.
support Tom Nook.
We support Tom.
Pro
Nook.
Tom Nook podcast.
Entrepreneur of the year.
Which is a good thing that we're a pro Tom Nook podcast, because boy, we got a lot of Tom Nook this week from an Animal Crossing Direct.
Wow.
Yeah.
25 minutes, which is pretty long for a game-specific Direct. We haven't had one this long since Splatoon 2, way back in the day.
I think it checked out to like 27.
Yeah.
almost.
Because I think they added in a bunch of stuff at the end because people were getting mad. Which we'll do that first, actually. We're going to talk about the whole Direct, but let's get the meat and potatoes out of the way before we get to the dessert. So, there are 2 catches with Animal Crossing. How much they are catches to you will obviously vary depending on your life and your situation, but it's good that you know. 1, say you buy Animal Crossing, right?
But I
You
will.
share your Switch with someone else, right?
I'm not doing that.
A girlfriend, a child, whatever.
Bad.
You will also need to share your island, which is how it has not worked like this. It's worked like this back in the GameCube, but
Yeah.
largely since then it has not been. Well, the Wii it did because there wasn't user profiles on the Wii. But on
Wasn't it like that on the Wild World?
no, because you had your own system.
Oh, so you just give them the game card and
Yeah.
put it in there. Yeah.
I mean, and so it's always been a thing where you could share the town. But this has been an issue because some people want to build, obviously, their own town and they don't have to share it with someone, right? Personally, I find there to be a level of charm in sharing the same space with someone, both virtually and physically. But that's, that is a thing that is
Cringe.
well, there it is.
If you want your own town, go buy your own Switch.
You do have to buy your own Switch.
Available at $199.
Wait, hold up a minute. On the DS, you had to buy your own DS. On the 3DS,
Correct.
you had to buy your own 3DS.
Yes. It was just people were curious.
So what the heck is the
People
difference?
are just, they thought that maybe you would be able to have your own islands.
Oh, they thought that, we do the same thing, but we're mad
Yes,
now.
well, that's sometimes things are. Well, I mean, we'll get to the next thing.
Well, I get it. There's easy solutions to
Sure.
it. So, they expect it.
Because this is one of the 2 games that is not saving to your user profile, but to your system, right? Which will create some headaches we're about to talk about next, which is that joining the likes of Splatoon 2 and Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I think also Let's Go, Animal Crossing does not support the traditional cloud saves that come with paying for Nintendo Switch Online.
Ooh.
Damn.
The
You know what these 3 games have in common?
what's that?
I don't care about them.
Well,
The best games on the
neither of those statements nullify each other. But there is the thing that they all share is that you have gear, you have stuff that's supposed to be related to your character, and they're very afraid of you duplicating them, right? That's their primary thing.
Yeah.
And so for a while, this has been developing. It first showed up on the back of a Japanese game card, and then people were Google translating it. We finally have semi-official, we have the official answers now, which is why we didn't talk about it before, because the stuff has changed. So in terms of if you lose a switch breaks, you lose the save somehow, they will be implementing later this year a system where you can get a save down from the cloud by contacting Nintendo. There is a catch, because like I said, they don't want you to be duping all the time. It's limited to it's a one-time thing. You get your save back once, and then brother, you're out of luck. If you break your Switch a second time, that's on you.
It should be on you, you idiot.
Wait, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, Animal Crossing is not competitive in any way. Who gives a fuck if people duplicate?
Well, no, because the arc of the game is about the slow progression, right? And so if you immediately get
nature of
a jabillion bells in a day,
I mean,
then you've broken the game.
Who cares?
The people that made the game care.
But you could always cheat in Animal. Sorry, you could always cheat in Animal Crossing. Like you could always just like I remember doing this like every year, or like I would always skip the fucking time one, so I can change it to a different year and get 10,000 bells.
Yeah, which I mean, guess who greets you every time? Our good friend Mr. Rossetti, calling you a real fuck if you do that, you know? He
was really shit.
And
I mean, there are already going to be like plenty of people who play the game legitimately. Why
sure.
should we worry about the people who play it wrong?
I think it's cutting off the nose despite the face a little bit. I do agree about that.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a situation where if you lose your saves multiple times, you enter a weird space of like, I mean, it sucks, but I think that's also entering a very low amount of people.
How many times are you losing your system?
Yeah,
Listen,
exactly.
I mean, there's
some
kids.
people are forgetful.
There are kids,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
But I've never heard of someone breaking their fucking system more than once. Or
You haven't
losing
met
their
enough
system
people,
more
that's
than
why.
once. Like, come
Yo,
on.
Oh, you don't know any
That's
kids.
a $300 console.
I mean,
My kid breaks that shit twice.
yeah, at that point, the
I don't-
Animal Crossing save is secondary to this $900 you've been spending on your kid breaking your Switch.
Yeah.
Says you.
I mean, I don't want to defend this decision. It's
dumb,
and bad,
yes.
But like, it's
Yeah, it's easily reversible. Like, easily, like, you can just do it. Yeah, it's cloud save.
Well, I mean,
they would at least do if they had restrictions, if it was like once a year.
yeah, literally more than once. I think is the thing where people are like, oh, so I get one, and then I'm just living on the edge, right?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like people are just scared of the possibility rather than the actuality.
Yes.
Like, it's not going to happen that
Yeah.
often. Or probably ever.
And the primary concern was, is this the only way I can transfer if I get a new Switch? Which they've said today, in another update that's coming at some point during this year, who knows when that is, they will be adding in the same, because of, like we mentioned earlier, the fact that these saves are native to your system and rather than to your user profile, it doesn't, system transfer on the OS side of things doesn't work. So they're going to make a custom way for you to just transfer in through in-game menus. So you will be able to transfer, if Switch Pro comes out next year, you can transfer your town and your stuff. You're in the clear.
That's
Good.
Which at first we didn't think was going to happen, because like I said,
I mean, as someone who has a light and a main Switch, just being able to switch between the two will be nice. I don't I don't want to be constricted to. That's kind of what I was bummed about before. Was I have to only pick one of these systems that I can play on, basically.
Mhm.
Wait. Can you transfer between them indefinitely?
Yes, there's not a limit on that from what they said.
Yeah. So that one, it's just the user save data transfer. So the way that I mean, not many people know about this feature on the Switch, but yeah, you can swap your save file even without the cloud save. You can actually can transfer a save file, just an individual game save file, from one Switch to another and back.
And it's not a particularly laborious process, you said, right?
And it takes 20 seconds. You just literally you press plus at the menu on the on the game icon, you click Save Data Transfer on both switches, and then you press A, and it's done.
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
Which is what I've done with Pokemon, what I've done with Splatoon. Just
Sometimes you want to play on the
'cause,
TV,
like-
but sometimes you like holding that Switch Lite in your hands.
Exactly.
Wait,
exactly.
didn't you say you weren't going to get a Switch Lite?
I did, and then I did get it.
Never believe his words about
God.
not buying things.
Yeah, I knew it.
Just to be clear, though, the reason I said I was not going to get a Switch Lite is because there was the Switch Pro rumored for 2019, and then the Switch
He
Pro
tries to
didn't come
slip
out.
away.
The Switch Pro didn't come out, so I'm like, fuck it.
He
Let's
tries to
get
slip
a Lite.
away yet again.
It's not going to come out in 2020
And yet
either.
again, on a technicality, I am right because
You're not
That is
you're wrong.
that is
I'm always right.
yeah.
You're
as
always
evidenced by this podcast.
Okay, let's
You'll
move
never
on.
be
We're gonna
able to
keep
go
we're gonna
back.
keep,
Move
we're gonna
on
keep
now.
pushing ahead. So there it is. That is the stuff. If those are issues to you, now you know. If they're not, congratulations. Right? That's how it works. So that's in terms of the actual game, right? They structure this in 3 parts. And so we'll just generally follow those when we talk about it. So, old Tom Nook, he's your guy now. He's taking you away on this island tour. He's the one who's going to be greeting you every morning. And he gave you, and he says, here's the stuff that we have in store for you. First and foremost, just a little nice quality of life improvement. Hemispheres now exist in the video game. Which for our people that are south of the equator, they've always had to deal with Animal Crossing not reflecting what they look like outside, right? Because obviously when you're south of the equator, summer, the seasons are flipped. So, they'll be entering fall when we are entering
now
spring.
you'll be able to celebrate Christmas as intended in the summer.
Yes. Christmas is in July, baby. It will be interesting.
This is really neat, because I bet it is a weird thing of like, I'm used to July being very cold and then it's fucking hot in this video game. I was like, that's
I
weird.
am curious
So it's nice to...
because we're going to be they're going to be adding in the traditional holidays. So is it going to be wintertime Easter egg hunts since they're going to be adding that in April?
Yeah, I would assume so, yeah.
What a wild place it is south of the equator. What a wild land. But
Can
speaking
you
of,
switch it between the two automatically, or is it just
I assume you have to
and
pick you have to pick one at the beginning.
I would assume so.
I assume.
Yeah.
But it'll be also cool just as for a friend thing, like being able to visit someone's island in the southern hemisphere, and it's like the completely opposite season.
Yeah,
Don't know
see
if
what it's
I
like.
know anybody.
I know 2 people in the southern hemisphere. So
Shout out to the Kiwis of the world. Besides that, they've expanded the seasons and the weather effects in the game. They showed that off a little bit, right? Just like now when it's storming, it looks more like a storm, right? Rather than just this rain.
Yeah, it looked like it was a hurricane coming.
Freaky
through.
stuff. Watch out, brother. And a lot of stuff that sort of has been in seasons, but has been expanded upon. Now in summertime, there's cherry blossoms on the tree. In the fall, there's mushrooms and truffles and stuff growing in the ground. During the wintertime, Aurora Borealis at this time of year. Located entirely on your tropical island. All there, which is cool, right? Obviously, they talk a lot in the first part about it's supposed to be an untamed land. And so I think making the weather be feeling more alive, obviously, leads into that more. But the next thing to talk about is a general theme of the game, seemingly, which is just customization is way more feasible now in terms of your island. When you show up, instead of just getting a map and having your house be at a place, you get a pick out of 3 different options for island layouts. And you get to pick where your house is going to go, where the first couple of villagers' houses is going to go. So by doing that, sometimes you would start an Animal Crossing game and, the town hall would be across the map and you'd be like, well, I guess I'm just adding in an extra 2 minutes to every time I play this game. So it's cool that you get to decide that stuff now. And you get to change it later as well, which is nice.
Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing I took away from this entire thing was just the customization options are insane. In this game.
And then they have the traditional sort of inventory system that we've had before, but the thing they're adding in terms of the inventory to replace the second screen is now the Nook phone, which is they missed Nukia right there. It's a clear pun they could have made, but they didn't.
Damn, they did. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But that's where you're going to be doing. You can look at your map. You can look at your friends list. You can do your custom design stuff. You can take pictures. They've added in a camera mode. I think that was also kind of a new leaf, but
that camera mode, man,
looks great.
They did not say that they would have like future apps on there or future updates on there.
They said what they implied was you'll unlock things as you go. Right, you'll start off with
right.
4 or 5, but you end up with 10 roughly. It looks like.
Yeah, you unlock. I know one of them is the one where you put the hard hat on.
The terraforming, which we'll get to in a bit. But the seemingly big thing you get right at the start is Nook Miles, which they showed off a little bit of back at E3, but they've expanded upon now. Which is a new currency that is essentially, it's a little bit more guidance for Animal Crossing, right? Because Animal Crossing is always well known for sort of being very directionless. Now they're sort of like...
Yeah, I like this a lot. This is really cool.
You show up, like, examples they gave was like, catch a fish. Just, that's it, right? Come back tomorrow, catch 3 fish, right? And just little dailies you can do.
Get just extra goals that you can put. Because it's really... It's hard to explain to somebody what Animal Crossing is a lot of times. Sure. So this is just, at least it's, if you're showing somebody Animal Crossing for the first time, this is like something you can be like, look, you get objectives. At least you have something that you have to do every day. Or you don't have to do it, but it's a path on something to do.
It's definitely
you're not used to the game.
Yeah, it's definitely another nice wee quality of life addition to this game.
Sure.
To the series.
And some of the things.
Yeah, I was about to ask, like, why do you people like this game?
Well, I mean, we can sort of get to other general impressions, but I think more so than even previous games, this game, I think, in this presentation did a good job illustrating that there's an ownership you feel in Animal Crossing over your town and over your villagers, and the sort of slow progression that sort of keeps you sucked in, and gradual improvement is like hard to capture well in a video game. But I think Animal Crossing does it in a way that it's so charming that like that's what gets you in the door. But then like having these little constant goals you're achieving keeps you coming back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely do, and they're fun to work towards. They're relaxing. There's no pressure to do it. It's just something that you want to dig into a little bit every day and just do your dailies.
Sure.
It's some days you get into it more. You're like, you know what? Today I'm going to grind a little bit extra money. I'm paying off my mortgage today.
I'm going to go put some
you
stuff.
set yourself your own personal goals.
The idea of dailies just gives me like traumatic flashbacks from playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I mean it's weird because I sort of had this thought, and maybe we can touch on more at the end. But Animal Crossing was always closest to MMOs of anything, right? But like, there's no combat, there's none of the RPG of the MMO, right? And there's not a ton of players either. But there is this
boring grind.
Well, no, this they want you to come back, right? They do. That's in the design. They say every day you should come and do this thing, and games sort of have adopted that way more, right? For the biggest game in the world, Fortnite has dailies, right? Rainbow Six Siege has been going for 4 years now. They both just announced new seasons, and Animal Crossing sort of. I think it'll be interesting.
Tetris 99's coming now.
And it'll be interesting to see what Animal Crossing, how they're sort of trying to modernize with that. As sort of the rest of the industry has caught up in a certain way.
I mean, isn't that what like the Tom Nook Miles is?
Yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that you can unlock from the Nook Miles they have is the pro custom designs, which were in the previous games, which was, you can customize individual parts of the shirt, stuff like that. In addition, they showed up for a second the tool ring. So now there's a much easier way to access all your tools while you're on the move, which is nice. And a pocket organizer, which they didn't show off, but hopefully that means you can organize your inventory easier, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Besides that, things they wanted to show, continuing with the customization thing, they have a little tent that you go to rather than Nook's shop at the start of the game. You unlock that eventually.
Yeah.
But you do DIY recipes now. You get those materials, you bring them back, you can make a bed. But the thing is, with this bed you can change the materials that it's made of. You can change the patterns that are on the like the bedspread, for example. And this is almost applying to almost all the items you can custom create. You can change how they look. Which is nice because, as we mentioned before, you can place furniture outside your house now. And they show that a lot, right? You make a campsite, a bunch of your villagers all come sit down and you just hang out together, right? Mm-hmm. Which is good vibes. But is also, once again, that thing of personal ownership I think they're really going for this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, they took that kind of from Pocket Camp.
Sure.
Placing stuff outside, which is, I like that, though, a lot.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so much.
I mean, the big theme of the game definitely seems to be like you just have complete control over this island. It seems,
Yeah.
This is entirely yours. Which for the direction of the franchise, it's kind of gotten progressively more and more in that. Right, in the last game, you were the mayor and you got to control more stuff than before. But this is even beyond that. Right?
Sure, like you're more or less God.
Well,
essentially, yeah. Especially when we get to the late game stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like and I do like, while we're talking about the early game stuff, like, the general theme seems to be like, they've kind of expanded the game in both directions.
yes.
There's a lot more to do in the beginning. There's a lot more to do in the end now. And I think the beginning of the game, making it more survival focused, I guess. Survival is maybe not the right word because there's no real threat or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
You'll get stung by a bee. Watch out.
But
They're gonna kill you.
They're gonna, what happens when it looked like he died?
He passed out. I imagine you probably get rescued by Timmy and Tommy.
Wake up at your house. That happens when you get stung by a scorpion.
Yeah, in Animal Crossing.
No. I think it's like Dark Souls, and you start as a new
finally.
villager.
You got to get back to the spot where the beast kills you and get your bells back.
to get your bells back.
If you die twice, you lose everything.
Oh boy.
Yeah. If you die,
High stakes running across the island.
Finally, I can play this game.
But yeah, no, this early phase of the game, it's very different from usual Animal Crossing, right?
Sure.
Like the whole DIY stuff and kind of
You're in a tent.
Crafting,
Yeah.
Man, it's so cool though.
It's a really neat way to make the beginning more interesting, because I do think Animal Crossing has had this problem before where it could take a little while to really get started,
Yeah.
Because the beginning tended to be so bare bones, but now the beginning is almost like a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's really neat.
Yeah, this game definitely feels as though they're encouraging you to be a lot more creative in regards to what you do. There's a lot more customization to it.
Well,
and while it's mostly an option, kind of everything is an option in Animal Crossing, right? That's kind of the beauty of Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Right? It does feel like, for those who want it, at least the early game, even kind of the mini, seems to be more goal-oriented, right? More like, hey, it kind of not necessarily pushes you, but if you want that direction, the game will provide it for you, right?
And that's what some people need, because it's hard. It's like I said earlier, it's hard to explain Animal Crossing to people because it's just such an anomaly of a video game.
Well,
but I mean, having goals is something that a lot of people will get into more.
I think the easiest explanation would just be like The Sims.
Sure, but I think it's
kind of translates.
But The Sims you don't necessarily control. So
well, The Sims has a lot of meters, right? It's sort of the thing that right. The Sims is about management. Animal Crossing is not very management heavy, and that's the thing that's hard, right? Because you compare it to Don't Starve, I guess, right? Well, and that's again is also very management focused, and Animal Crossing sort of there's a line they have to thread, right? Because I saw a couple of reactions, I don't agree with them at the direct, that were like, "Hey man, they're giving me too much control." Actually, I like the sort of sparse nature of the things I could affect in Animal Crossing, and I think that ultimately by doing this intro like they are, and letting you you have a lower starting number of villagers than you've ever had in Animal Crossing, right? You have a smaller home than you ever had when you start. You get the chance to familiarize yourself so that when you do progress, it's significant because you knew where you started from, right? Which I think is the thing that's cool about it. But I guess we can just then mention that you can get homes. Obviously, this is a thing that people were saying, "Oh, we're going to be in a tent the whole time." No, you can build a house. And they've expanded on that a little bit. One, you have inherent storage space now, so you don't need a cabinet to put things away, which is nice. Very happy about that. But the other thing is that they've expanded a lot on the decorating that was in Happy Home Designer, right? And Happy Home Designer was really only about decorating houses. But they've now there's a lot more ways to more easily move things and in groups and get rid of furniture more effectively than used to in the old game, right?
Oh, seems so nice.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it seems so dumb that I'm excited about it. But if you haven't played the old Animal Crossing games, you don't understand. The moving furniture around was kind of a pain in the ass. You know?
Sure.
Slowly turn it and move it one tile at a time.
To me,
like just kind of allowing you to do that at once is nice. I'm glad that they took some notes from Happy Home Designer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For me, it's just the storage itself. Like, because I always hated like having like 6 different fucking boxes full of random cool shit that I want to keep but can't use in my house.
Sure.
Like I have like a fridge full of like 16 different like fucking wardrobes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And that's something that's also fixed by having be able to put stuff outside, right? So that you're not only limited to the space that's in your house. And sort of, I mean, you touched on it, Brandon, but we can mention it here. There's been, I think, some people that have been clowning on and making fun of Animal Crossing fans for reacting to like little stuff, right? And I think it is funny, but I find it ultimately charming. But it's not unlike, when a patch notes come out for an MMO and people lose their minds, right? When a fighting game thing adds changes and new mechanics, what can seem very insignificant to someone that's not in the game is actually hugely significant to people that are very in the weeds about it, right?
Yeah.
Are you saying that it's just a game?
Never. Perish the thought.
No.
I will not lose twice.
You can't say that. You're a horrible human being if you say that.
And lazy.
The other thing, they already confirmed, we saw this already in the very first trailer, but they confirmed again. You can have up to 8 players on an island at a time, including yourself.
That is very exciting.
Yeah. And you can...
This I kind of don't understand. Like, why is that exciting?
Play with more people.
Yeah, exciting. It's because 7 different people can visit your town at one time.
But I mean, like, what do you do together?
You go fishing, you catch some bugs, you show each other your house and say, look at my house, look at my town. And you get inspired by how cool theirs is and say, that's a good idea. I'm going to do something similar, but I'm going to switch it up. Wait, come over to my house in a little bit. We're going to show you. And it's really fun.
You trade the fruits with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't lie, Animal Crossing is mundane, but I would sort of compare it to like Minecraft multiplayer, right? There's something that's building a structure for yourself to look at, and there's a different thing to building the structure and then bringing your friends in and showing you what you've made, right?
Yeah, it's cool. Or now you could be like, hey, you want to come over to my house? Yo, I'm about to like try to build like a nice path around my whole town. You want to come over and help me? And you guys can like build paths together. It sounds stupid.
Though you have to make sure they're best friends.
With your best friends. Yeah.
You have to be best friends, which is awesome.
Best friends.
I love that. Like,
yes.
Like anti-griefing shit. That's pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good. I still don't trust Saf. Don't know if I'll put him in.
Understandable.
No one should trust Saf.
You did
I will
threaten
destroy
his life earlier.
Yeah.
It's like, there's this one very good tweet I saw recently where it was like, man, if I had a girlfriend who played Animal Crossing, I would let her go to my town, and I wouldn't even care if she trampled over my flowers while she was visiting, even though it's really easy, and all you have to do is walk instead of pressing the run button when you're over it. But that'd still be cool.
Yeah, that's love. Speaking of things that we love, the Nintendo Switch app is not dead, my friends. Don't you worry. You might have thought it's done. It's not. You can still use voice chat, but the primary thing that it is seemingly for is that the Switch does not have a camera. Oh, wait. How are we going to scan these QR codes? Good news. All the QR codes from Happy Home Designer and from New Leaf will still work, and you can scan for patterns that have been made in those games and games in New Horizons, and you can bring them into your game through that. So that's the means by which.
That's a really cool feature.
Love the backwards compatibility on that, because there's a ton of patterns that you don't want to just people put time into. You want them to disappear.
Oh yeah, real cool.
And then that's sort of the end of the first part that they show off. The second part, they say very clearly, this is optional stuff. You don't have to do this. But it's a lot of the stuff that was in the old games, essentially, right? So eventually you can build the museum, which looks super nice, by the way. Very beautiful.
Oh, it looks really cool. I'm surprised that you have to build the museum. Did you have to build it in New Leaf?
You never had to.
Say, it's usually a staple in the town. So, but it makes sense too. It's a deserted island.
Island
on a tropical island.
Not gonna be a museum there.
The other ones that they confirm, Nook's Cranny, the traditional shop, can be added. The Able Sister shop can be added, where you can buy clothes. Campsites where you can recruit villagers. And speaking of, this is the first time that you can intentionally choose to expand the number of people that can be on your island. Right, so you start off with 3, but you can get it up to seemingly 10 is the number that we're looking at right now. Who knows if it's more or less.
Oh, and they said there was more places to build, I think, than what they just showed.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of people would be really upset if Brewster's was gone.
Oh, I love that owl. Not an owl, a pigeon. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Can I deport people off my yacht?
You can kick them out. So
God damn.
you I mean, if you want to use that verbiage, you can. But you can kick them out. Then besides that, the town hall can be added back, and it has all the same functionality it used to. Isabel's back. She does all the same stuff she used to. You got to earn her this time.
Thank goodness.
She's drinking on the job. It's been rough.
Smash Brothers has
She
been
really
rough.
is.
It's been rough. And then the final thing, I mentioned this sort of, is we've seen characters use pole vaulting. We've seen characters use ladders, right? You can, with the town hall, build bridges. You can build stairs. You can terraform more. And when you've done a lot of, that's when you can also start making paths and stuff. When you get really far in, they say, when you're essentially towards the end game, you can become God. And just, you can make rivers disappear before your very eyes. You can make cliffs appear and disappear, giving you a ton of customization. And they sort of show that in the final moments of the direct, of that second part, where you just see these towns that are straight up towns. You've built little playgrounds and everything else. It's way more elaborate than we've ever seen in Animal Crossing before.
Yeah, that part looks cool. I'll give them that.
The fact that you have the ability to like not only add like 8 other real people as players, but also like potentially up to 10 other like NPCs. The fucking map has to be huge.
Yeah, and plus there's no main street anymore, so like, all the services are on the main island now, so like this island must be pretty fucking big.
And you have to have up to 8 players as well that can build houses. You can have up to 8 on one system.
Yeah, because one of my coworkers who's never played Animal Crossing before was messaging me about it because he watched it and was like, he's like, I kind of want to play this game. One of my worries is that the island doesn't seem big enough. I don't think they'll have enough room for all the customization I'll want to do because I know I'll get really into it. And I was like, pretty sure it's probably a pretty good ass size.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it won't be super huge, right? It won't be like gigantic, but I think it'll be healthy.
But I think it's probably bigger than any town that has ever been there.
Sure.
Almost certainly.
According to the direct, it's big enough to get lost. So
what a weird thing.
I imagine that's just if somehow you mess something up. It's just a fail safe, right? But that's also where we find Mr. Rossetti, by the way. I don't know if you noticed it was him that was picking you up. It plays his music.
Yeah, it's Mr. Rossetti.
Yeah.
I recognize that song.
And there's there's a few other things. Speaking of space, because there can be sometimes limited resources on islands. Now you can use the Nook Miles to go and take a mystery tour where you can go to who knows what it'll entail. And that's where you can get additional resources and various, probably different flowers, different fruits, the stuff that you normally have to get through going to other players' villages. You can use that.
Yeah. And like wood for because you wouldn't want to like go around your town and just chop down all the trees.
Sure.
So it's cool if you need wood for crafting and stuff. Getting crafting.
And they said that there's a chance of getting special islands too.
They put Cap'n out of a job.
They did. Now we have this dodo bird.
We fly there instead of.
He probably got a job.
There's still a dock.
Mr. Rossetti a new job.
So who knows if the dock will be used for anything? But there's still a dock.
Yeah, Rossetti got a new job. I'm sure he got a new job.
And like they did show, for example, there's one where like the island's full of the special rocks you can hit, and then just money comes flying out. There's just a whole island of those, baby. So if you do that one, you're in the money.
Kind of rock.
High life. And then a few other things, which is mostly there. They said that there'll be villagers, like for example, there were a bunch of former characters like Label, like Celeste, who were sort of secondary characters. Now they show up as visitors. They will show up in front of your town hall, right? Which I imagine has to do with the limited space on the island, right? And they will give you new stuff. For example, you see Celeste talks about a magic wand, and you get a thing that lets you change your appearance at any time by using the magic wand, right? So things like that are pretty neat. And that's stuff that I imagine they're playing close to the chest. They're not showing everything because that's part of the fun is surprise.
Yeah.
But all that having been said, that's a lot of the facts of the direct. Is there anything in terms of facts that you want that I missed that you guys want to?
The game is Death Stranding because there's a ladder.
There is, and it's about forming bonds. So in that way, it's in the Strand genre, I would say.
It is in the Strand.
Where are the
genre.
babies?
That's in the end game. You'll see. You'll get there. The BBs.
They don't want to spoil that. Come
This
on
is a
now.
prequel.
Ooh. Oh.
They had a castaway called Gulliver, and I thought that was a very fucking clever reference to Gulliver's Travels.
Saf, that's been in every Animal Crossing game.
Does it?
He's all, yeah.
I've only played the one, right?
Well, I think he was in the one. So
He walked off a cliff.
He did. Yes, I have just let him die.
yeah.
But I mean, it is a good reference regardless.
Yeah, there's Animal Crossing has a lot of great
No, Seth
references.
is wrong.
The speaking. Oh, I guess I already mentioned this. They're changing how holidays work. We mentioned it before earlier, but they're adding them in free updates rather than just having them in the game inherently, which is weird. But I think it's primarily to prevent people from time traveling to just do them over and
So
over.
we don't
Oh,
get
yeah,
it
good
spoiled
point.
by people.
Yo, good ass point. I like that now even more.
Yeah,
Yeah, see,
and
so, you know.
and
Yeah.
the
I imagine once they get added into the game, like the following year, you don't have to worry about it. It's like
Yeah.
just programmed in the game now. That
Yeah.
April, is, but for the next 12 months at least.
Well, yeah, that's
Mhm.
good though.
God.
Because what's worse? People who say it's just a game or people who cheat. I don't know.
I would say that when you say it's just a game, you're cheating the game. You know.
Whoa.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
So-
true. You're right.
Also, I mean, I would say that probably guarantees us at least a year of free updates.
Yes.
I imagine the updates are not just going to add holidays. I imagine that they're going to add a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and they said that.
I mean,
in the
this
thing.
is
They
the-
said in addition to the
Yeah.
holidays.
Because this is the Splatoon team, right? And so I imagine, like, I mean, what is Splatoon most well known for? It's those free updates that it got, right? Just massive update constantly every fucking.
Yeah, they'll probably go further than when they say.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, if Splatoon's any indication. Yeah, I don't know. It just looks. I mean, I'm super interested in the endgame stuff,
Mhm.
right? I'm super just.
Endgame is a weird word for
It
Animal
is a weird word for Animal
But there is now a
But I
genuine
thi-
in game.
But I think it fits for this one, and I think that like
Yes.
just being able to fucking terraform and like create waterfalls and create just create your own paths and cliffs and
Is there a
It's just-
point when this game ends?
No.
Animal
it
Crossing
never
doesn't
ends.
really.
But there are
end.
points where you
Uh,
successfully unlocked everything, right? And you're just sort of you're
Yeah.
iterating
Yeah.
at that point.
It takes a pretty long time to like do everything you can.
Yeah, it's a couple months at least, I would say.
Over a year.
Yeah, I would say yeah, about a year, right? Because
Yeah.
yeah.
You want to experience all the different events that go on throughout the year, so it genuinely does stay interesting for
Yeah.
at least a year.
Sure.
Yeah, and I would say like Animal Crossing is one of those games that truly like I feel like it is actually really hard to get the appeal across, and maybe
Yeah.
even I think this director did a pretty decent job, but even if you're still feeling it, like, hey, what the fuck is this, right? Let me tell you, I was on that boat too, and then I played New Leaf, and I was like, this is incredible, so like Animal Crossing, this is the game to jump into, right? Because everyone's gonna be playing it.
It's going to be very shareable,
Yeah.
You can take group pictures.
Yeah.
That I don't know why I'm so excited about that, but
I don't
that
know
excites the
It's going to
fuck
be precious
out of me.
memories.
I feel like
It's
that's
just-
gonna be so fun.
this
You and your
game-
friends just playing a goof and taking big old group pictures. It's gonna be a great
Mhm.
time.
It's gonna be all over fucking Twitter, just
Hell yeah.
non-stop. It's
We're gonna post a group pic of our. We're gonna hang out and we're gonna post it on our Twitter. So get ready for that.
We'll Photoshop
No,
in
no,
Ills.
Els is not invited, but everybody else on the Tempo.
Thanks.
Well, it's okay because when Els and Saf don't pick up the game, we can put it number 1 on the list.
Oh, not like this.
Do whatever you
Not
want.
like this.
Well, here's the thing about that. Noah's gonna be picking up the game too. So
Well, yeah, it will still be 3-1. We're good.
this is his first animal.
I don't like this.
We're not having this, but this is actually Noah's first animal.
Wow,
Oh, exciting!
that's exciting.
Is
Played
it?
it for.
Yeah, I don't. I think
Are you
this,
genuinely excited?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I mean, I have two people at my work too. who
because we'll
I-
be able to play with Noah. We'll be able to have a great time.
Exactly. Yeah, we know how fun it is, so adding your friends is even better.
Yeah.
2 people at my work never played Animal Crossing before. Gonna pick it up. So, yeah, I think it's attracting new people
Yeah.
too.
I do think overall, I think that having you showing you basically the very beginning through to what you can do at the end, I think was a very good way to present this whole game, right? Because you think back to where you started and where the presentation ended, and you're like, oh, okay, I sort of get the general arc of what I'm going to be going through. And I think, Moose sort of touched on this earlier, but New Leaf was the main thing it added was the mayor stuff, right? And which was about controlling the town more than before, right? But this is, I think, interesting because it sort of looks at that and it goes both directions, like you said, right? There's and I think that you feel more of an ownership over this game. I'm excited to feel an ownership over this game when I play it, right? Because of the stuff that they've shown off.
You're a dictator.
Yeah, we'll see how power corrupts, absolutely. So we'll see how I am in a year.
I mean, we already know Ills is running fucking ice on his island.
Yes.
Deporting people.
Until we agreed that I'm not even getting the game.
If he did.
If you were...
It's the if I did it of Animal Crossing stories.
Well, I didn't know thought crimes were a thing here.
They are, brother. Have you heard the list? Hot crimes are... We constantly hurt each other for them.
I've never committed a thought crime then.
I do have to say, minor observation. I think the game... They've tuned up the graphics. They tuned up the graphics on level 3.
Yeah! Like, honestly, that was one of the first things I noticed as soon as the footage started rolling in the direct. Like, it looks just really pretty.
I went back to the September direct. It's an improvement. You can appreciate the difference.
I mean, that's generally the arc that Nintendo games go through, where, like, the first kind of footage we see is nowhere near what the final product ends up looking like. They almost always look a lot better than they did.
Unless you're Yoshi, you hack.
No, Yoshi looked better too.
Yoshi looked better.
Backgrounds are blurry.
That was
kill that dinosaur.
Truth comes out.
I'm gonna murder him.
This game definitely got the glow up as well, and it just looks really pleasant. Like, oh man, I'm really excited to play this game. HD Animal Crossing. It's not a thing that you thought was necessary, right?
And you were right.
No,
you were a
here we are.
idiot.
It looks it looks great. Brandon agrees.
I do agree.
Yeah, see?
Thanks for saying that I did without just saying it, but I do.
I knew
felt it.
I knew where.
Okay, you know me.
He scrambles for backup.
Where
Now,
Pokemon
I will say-
has disappeared, Animal Crossing will rise in its place to continue to make ill suffer. That's the natural order of things.
Yeah, that's gonna be the thing we talk about for the next.
There's nothing I can do. What can I say?
Such is life. Keep waiting for PS5.
I will say now that we know all about Animal Crossing, which I've been waiting for this for a while, right? Now we need a general direct though. It's time.
It's been 12 hours.
I'd love to have something to talk about.
We need it.
I'm ready. Okay.
You're gonna get a Nindy showcase. You're gonna like it.
Paper Mario 3. It's time. Okay.
5, but all right, buddy.
No.
Way to count.
Well, first of all, where are you getting 5 from? It would be
6. Sorry.
If you're
All right, a sticker star doesn't count. Okay, a 6, Brandon. You idiot.
I always
too. Way
forget
to
Color
count.
Splash is a thing.
Most people do, to be honest. No, it's time for Paper Mario 3. Okay, it's time.
It's time for Paper Mario. It's time
You
for
can make Paper
Pikmin
Mario
4.
in the little editor in Animal Crossing, New Horizons. How about that?
Oh.
Well,
There it is. Because he's
Okay,
he's a
well,
2D
forget
image, so
about
we don't need it.
Paper Mario, then.
Get rid of him. He's done. There we go.
Where's that direct though, dude? I'm starving. I'm dead.
I made a face.
All
I did an office face, but it doesn't work.
didn't translate.
It's an audio
Hey,
format.
Jim.
Happy we don't have webcams. If only you could see.
If you watch us on Mixer at the specific time that we stream, we won't tell you, but this is live. On
Leave the
Mixer.
tab open
Every
all week. It will be different times
Yeah.
every week, by the way.
God.
We don't. Yeah.
Keep you on your toes.
It's your
Be
watch out.
depressing.
So any more thoughts on Animal Crossing?
Why?
I'm just excited, man. I'm ready to play this game. One more month.
Yeah,
One more
one
month.
And this
And-
month's only 29 days, so baby.
What's 21 days?
This month.
This month,
Oh.
we have one less day.
Oh, that's true. You're right. So, oh my god, I didn't even think about
Oh my
that.
God.
It's
It
only
would it would be
So
2 less
shocking.
days if it wasn't a
Yeah.
stupid leap
So happy
year.
right now.
It's
Jesus
only
Christ.
29
Stupid Gregorian
days away.
calendar.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
Let's just party.
This is I'm
What fun
excited.
It is to
you're
write.
doing.
honestly, that 1 day difference has made so
Yeah.
much.
Hell yeah, bro. We're getting there.
Get the balloon.
I just-
This is the part where it gets
I feel so much
pathetic.
happier.
That's fine. Because I mean,
I want to see Ills and Bill Belichick party together.
I don't care about who that is.
No, that's good.
See?
Well, look
He's the
forward
best.
to us ranking it on the list number 1 in March 2021.
Can I just say, I do
Okay.
enjoy the fact that the Nintendo Switch Online app has another use after years of being useless.
And Super Smash Bros. Ultimate added a new game.
That's true. Why didn't Mario Maker get this functionality though? What the
Nintendo
hell? Mario Maker,
It's a game for trash people.
Mario Maker 1 had this dope bookmark.
I don't know
website.
if dope is the right verbiage for a bookmark
No, it was
website.
dope because it was dope. Okay, it was so easy to find good levels. It was like it was the functionality of it was very good. Mario Maker 2 in comparison sucks. Okay, that could have been added. Could have been added to the phone app, but no.
Hot takes.
Thank you for that. You know what else is?
We appreciate.
You know what else is dope?
What else?
The list!
That's not true.
Follow along in the
you're wrong.
pace bin below as the dopeness increases each week.
If we're putting it on a scale, the list is firmly at the bottom.
Okay.
Jesus.
That means something.
Wow.
Did someone just break their computer? Leave that in, Saf. What the heck?
Is not happy about
Oh my
I
god.
wasn't happy either.
Apparently Muzzy wasn't happy.
Wow. He hates the list. Every week.
Talk about
conviction.
punctuation.
Oh my god. Is he around? Did he die? Do we need to call someone?
He's
Don't worry. No. It was just to exemplify how.
Sure,
how I
it was.
feel.
Well,
completely did.
that is how I felt last week as Saf did me dirty again.
God damn it.
Number
I think this is your fault, though. You're not around when Saf is, and that's your fault. You know when it's Saf's turn.
It's always after me.
And so maybe fucking show up when it's Saf's turn.
Sorry, there are
This is
obligations.
you know what, Saf? You should commit right now to adding Wind Waker.
Don't do this.
Oh, you better be around,
That way
boy.
he shows up for once, you know?
What the fuck did Saf add?
He had Pokemon Black and White.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which got high on the list, 26, on a list of 165 games.
The best 166 games ever
Yep.
made.
That there definitely are. Shout out to Fox Hunt, one of the best games ever made. Check out that Game Club episode.
Yep.
Hey, thanks for the
No
plug.
problem, bud. You know the guys who played Fox Hunt, it was you, Brandon. So why don't you add another game instead of it? Because I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, is that why we're giving Brandon it? Because of
Yeah.
Fox Hunt? Okay.
So I played
Listen.
Fox Hunt.
He deserved it if he played that game.
Yeah. And I had to host an entire almost hour-long episode about it. So,
Roblo.
here we are. My turn. A lot of critics of the list have been saying that it's lots of Nintendo games, you Nintendo nerds. Well, we just talked
I'm about to say, this episode did a good job changing that perception.
But if you made it this far and you have that same sentiment, I'm gonna pick a non-Nintendo game.
This is the limpest olive
yeah.
branch I've ever seen.
I think I'm gonna start adding. Nintendo games out of spite, though.
Out of spite. Well,
Yeah.
there's no.
You've
nothing
clearly
better than
revealed
doing
yourself
things
to be
out of
What else
driven
spite.
only by that.
I mean,
Isabel.
that's the only thing you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, that's true.
His whole life is out of spite. But so yeah, we're gonna add a game. I want to add a game that I actually finally got around to playing earlier this year. Actually, last month. Me and my friend played it. Big old co-op game, and that game is Gears of War,
The very first
Oh,
one.
shit.
Oh.
the very first one.
Cool.
So who the hell has played Gears of War?
I have.
Wow.
I've only played Gears of War 3, so.
Okay.
Cringe.
So
Dom
Sam
with a
and
beard.
Will, Ills,
Yep.
have you ever played it?
Yeah, I played it.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Ah.
So
Sorry.
everybody but Muzzy. We'll add Gears of War 3 eventually. But yeah, Gears of War, man. I mean, it almost defined a console generation in terms of action
Yeah.
games.
100%.
It defined the engine for a
it's-
generation.
Yeah, it definitely did. I mean, it came out at a time where people were trying to ask what was Microsoft's next big IP going to be, because the Xbox had Halo.
Mhm.
What was the 360 going to have? And their answer was God of War or Gears of War. Jesus,
God of
The
War.
GOW. It gets
God
you
of
every
War.
time.
It does. God, so many of War games.
Well, now they're not of War anymore.
Now it's just gears.
It's not. It's just Gears now. But Gears of War.
They lost the
developed
war.
by. They developed by Epic Games. You may have heard of them.
Yeah.
So.
What?
Yeah.
That's
I mean, everybody knows Epic.
that's
Games.
wild, actually. You know.
Wait, they made games before Fortnite?
Yeah, they did before their
Oh.
game launcher, before Fortnite.
Tell me more about this
Yeah.
ancient history.
I know, right? It doesn't seem ancient to me, but if you're young and you're listening to this,
Prehistoric
it probably does.
game.
Honestly, at this point, I think Gears of War is actually firmly retro. I'm
Jesus Christ, I'm old.
Yeah.
I will
think
say
about
it does
that.
feel
I don't
I-
think that's true.
No, because like 64 games were retro like in 2006.
Oh my god, it was in 2006.
And it's closer to Ocarina of Time was 8 years, and we're now 14 years from Gears of War.
Yeah, 14 years
Oh my
removed from
God.
Gears of War. I know, it makes you feel old, huh?
God.
But Gears of War is a third-person shooter. Takes place on a fictional planet, not Earth. And it's like the humans versus the big, nasty bug things.
Locusts.
The locusts. Yeah. Yeah, and then... God, it's gritty is the best way to the best word you can do to describe this game is, it's got that, it has a graphical style that defined also the entire generation, not only but gameplay, but graphics.
Yes.
Mhm.
And gameplay for the best, graphics maybe not, though the game looks fucking
At
great
the time,
to
it
this
was
day, I gotta
mind-blowing.
say.
It does.
Yeah.
it looks
Yes.
really good.
Like, I played the remastered version of Gears of War 1, but so me and my friend are playing through all of them. So we played Gears of War 1. Then we went to go play Gears of War 2, and I'm thinking, well, now there's no remastered version of this game. Man, is it probably going to look bad. That game looks fucking awesome still.
The 4K.
Like, I bet Gears of War 1 still looks just as fucking good.
Mm.
Like, man, what a good looking game. And despite
So
the fact that the palette is brown.
I was like, am I
Brown and
misremembering this game? Because I remember this being primo Unreal Engine 3 look, where it's brown.
Well, it was the game that
Brown,
defined the
green.
Unreal Engine 3 look, right? That didn't exist before Gears of War. You know, that's it starts
yeah.
here.
Sure.
So at that time, it was
That's what I'm saying.
brand
They
new.
defined that look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's very like drab, it still comes off as like, pretty crisp, pretty, nice looking. Like everything looks
Mhm.
like, I don't
Like
know.
the
It looks like
textures,
a war zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Looks like it's what it's supposed to look like.
Which
Yeah,
is
you know,
a
and-
world barely hanging out.
and it still looks good. It holds up, and the gameplay is fun. It's fluid. It's fast. It's constant action all the
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
Cover
uh,
shooter.
Really love the
You know,
active reload.
It
The active reload is really fucking cool.
really
Mhm.
pushed the fucking cover-based shooting aspect of
Yeah.
first-person shooters.
Yeah.
Is pretty solid.
Yep.
And
Third
the,
person shooter.
Third
and the
person
camera
shooter.
that you get when you're running in like
The roadie
cover,
run?
down
The
mode.
shaky
Yeah.
cam.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It brings it all together to just make it feel like such a cool action game. Like you said, the active reload is a really cool feature that, pressing the right button when you reload, not only do you reload faster, but your next shots and your gun are going to be more powerful.
Yeah.
So you get that bonus.
It's a really
And,
smart mechanic.
Yeah, and you feel really good doing it. It's like a weird combo meter without actually, having combos in a fighting game. you know
Sure.
what I mean?
And fucking
And,
chainsawing locusts were pretty cool. They were
Yes.
pretty
Yeah,
badass.
the chainsaw guns. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like an iconic
Yeah.
thing now,
100%. Yeah.
I mean,
And the characters are all like most macho
yeah.
dudes.
John
ever.
DiMaggio gargled rocks before he went into every recording booth for Marcus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coltrane.
The broiest bros of all.
Yeah. They don't have
Yeah,
necks.
Coltrane.
It's just meat, and then their head is placed on top.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it fits the game, it's
Yeah.
great.
I mean, it's a little goofy.
Yeah, going back,
Especially with the
it's
Coltrane.
funnier more than it
Yeah.
is serious. And the series started trying to get more serious as it went on, right? And I think that's where it lost me. Was
Yeah, to the detriment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think there's probably like a decent balance in Gears 1.
But
Is it-
yeah,
The other thing I really liked was the Hammer of Dawn section.
Yes.
Oh man, was
Hammer
that what it was
Dawn's
called?
really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a
Super
giant
fucking dope.
satellite. You just aim at something and it just fucking satellite beam destroys
Is-
them.
And especially when you're fighting that last boss. I think was his name.
Yeah,
Rad?
General Ram, I think, or something.
Yeah.
General
Yeah.
Ram,
He's in
yeah.
Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
What a weird ad.
He is.
Whoa.
Do you fight the
And I
Brumac
really
in
like,
1 or 2? The Brumac,
what?
the big boy. Probably 2 if you don't
I mean,
remember.
I-
Probably 2 if you don't remember. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I
No,
I don't
because
know.
Brumac, I think he's in both.
Okay. Because I know they did 2 different things
Yeah.
with it. I remember people freaking out about riding the Brumac. I remember. But anyways.
There was
That's
like
in the
a
second game.
there was
That's
like
in
a
the second.
minecart section, wasn't there?
Ba-da-ba-da-ba,
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool sections in the game, and there's a decent amount of enemy variety as
Mhm.
well. It gets better as the series goes on. But in the first game, it has like just some really cool sections that like I like getting in the vehicle and one person has to shoot and the other person has to use a spotlight to keep those locusts away from you, the ones that like it's in the darkness. That part was fucking cool as hell. And you have to blow up propane tanks to make
Mhm.
lights because if you walk in the dark, they'll like instantly devour you and kill you.
Yeah, I remember
To-
that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
It's really
the
interesting.
the vehicle one. I remember playing it with a friend, and I didn't like that part. Like I hated that part. I was kind of frustrated. It just was too hard for me at that time.
It's hard, very hard on the harder difficulties.
Yeah.
But the game does a good job of giving you enough variety throughout, like
Yeah.
riding in vehicles and one cool set piece after another.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I guess all that being said,
Where do you wanna put it?
Gears of War. I think it's a fantastic game. So looking at the list, this is tough. Because honestly, I don't even want to talk about its sequels, right? Because that's not really what we're talking
Mhm.
about. So just thinking about Gears of War 1, regardless of anything, it's still a fucking hell of a game. So I'm looking probably in at least the 30s.
That is high for me.
Okay. Okay. What do you think? Because I'm thinking somewhere in the 30s for me.
I'm thinking like high 40s.
High 40s.
I was thinking like
Yeah.
right around that Psychonauts to Borderlands territory.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is it better than Borderlands?
I wouldn't.
That's
I'd
real.
I
say
had more
yes,
fun with
but-
Borderlands. I'd say I had more fun with Borderlands than I did with Gears of War.
It's hard to say. I mean, like Gears of War. I think I would put it above Psychonauts, We Love Katamari, Hotline Miami. I would also put it. I would also put it below Borderlands.
You know what? I just remembered Borderlands. It had a very, very disappointing ending.
The final boss is doo-doo.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I think that's like
Everybody brings up the ending. It's not that bad.
it wasn't exciting.
but
When
still,
there's not a lot of
It
story
really-
in that game. When the story is what's in the vault, and when the vault is a big
Yeah.
squid monster, it's like
I mean,
these
what do
guys-
you
It was-
expect there to be in the vault?
it's something
cool.
engaging.
That
Yeah.
was cool.
Nah.
it is. I will say I was disappointed in the ending in Borderlands, but Borderlands, the rest of the game is fucking awesome.
Sure, yeah,
rest of the
but we're
game
talking
is
about two.
fucking
We're talking about two
amazing,
games that we like a lot. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I think
I would be very
I
offended
would-
if this goes above Hotline Miami.
You haven't even played the game. Shut the fuck up.
All
right. I really personally think this
I
game
played,
is better than
I
fucking
played
Hotline
a better
Miami.
Gears game, and that's not better than Hotline Miami. So
Gears of War 3, I don't know is better than
Is
Gears
Is
of
Gears
War
3
1,
better
first
than
of all.
1? I haven't
I
played
would
it.
say
Seriously,
so.
don't think it.
I like the multiplayer parts of
The
it.
horde
say
mode
two
adds a
is-
lot.
Yeah, it really, really made the game enjoyable.
I would say 2 is even better than 1, but
I mean, I would put it
Two
above
is
Borderlands,
below.
below Hotline, personally. Removed from
you know, I'll put it
Muzamil's
above-
stance, but
I would put it above Borderlands. Like I feel as though like it was more Gears of War 3 was more consistently good than it was.
Well,
compared
3
to
doesn't
Borderlands.
I would put it under Melee.
I'd put it below Psychonauts.
I can also meet at
there's
that.
no consistency here.
Wait,
Saf, where did you want to put it? You just said above Borderlands, but where above Borderlands?
I haven't played V Love Katamari. That's going to be something I still need to play. I enjoy Psychonauts a lot more. so
So below Psychonauts. at
would you
least.
put it above or below Hotline?
Yeah, how does it compare to Hotline Miami?
I really like.
Let me
Hotline
remind
Miami.
you, the hospital section of Hotline Miami sucks.
Yeah.
It does not take away from a fucking
Sucks.
incredible game.
No, I love Hotline Miami, believe me, but that hospital section sucks. And the overall conclusion of the story is very underwhelming. Like,
is that how you would describe the conclusion of Hotline
I
Miami?
think it's like it's very mysterious, but you get almost no payoff.
I guess I didn't see. I was enthralled enough by the ending to like.
I really love the game, but yeah, I thought the ending was just like.
And I think
Nothing.
it's such a unique video game, right? There's really nothing like it out there.
Yeah.
Katana Zero.
Well,
Well, you know why Gears of War was unique when it came out, and then everybody copied it. So
Yeah. I was going to say, like, you could say the same thing for Gears. That's gonna be. You know what? I can switch either way.
I'm okay with putting it below Psychonauts. I think that's it. I mean, I do love Psychonauts a lot. That game is fucking awesome as hell.
That game is fucking great.
Yeah.
Also,
I
has a
don't
bad
know.
time.
Yeah.
Meat Circus.
Yeah, it's a bit frustrating.
But it's a weird little section here.
Yeah.
When Psychonauts?
Yeah, the final level
No,
of Meat Circus.
The
I don't
end,
like a lot.
the end.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
weird.
But
What is up with us talking about games?
well, it's just this section right here, and then we got Okami right below, which is a whole nother issue.
Yeah.
Just right there.
I want to. To be honest with you, my mind could go either way, but I'll put it below Hotline
Below
Miami.
okay, below Hotline Miami.
Because, like, it's Hotline Miami. It has a unique, interesting style. It's got fantastic music. It's got fun.
That's true.
It's got fantastic gameplay. I'll put it below Hotline Miami.
I ain't mad at it. That's where we're going,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
There it is. At number 44 on the list, we have Gears of War. Surrounding it at 42, We Love Katamari. 43, Hotline Miami. 44, Gears of War. 45, Borderlands. And 46, Okami HD. There it is, folks. That is the list. That is the podcast for this week. We want to thank you, of course, for listening. If you made it this far, then hopefully that means you enjoyed the podcast. And if that is the case, then be sure to come back next week. What is happening?
God damn. All my alarms are going off.
we are it's fine. You just keep pushing through. We are on twitter.com/jumpupsupercast, where you can know whenever we go live every Monday with this podcast, every other Thursday with the Jump Up Supercast Game Club. They played Fox Hunt this last week. It sounds like a journey. Rob Lowe's involved, and you probably like him, so check it out.
Wait, who's getting the final phrase?
I was about to ask before I do that, who wants the final phrase? Okay,
Me.
great. I'm concerned. But in other places you can find us, the twitch.tv/jumpupsupercast, where Moose is supposed to be playing through the games of hell. Will he? We'll find out. It's a busy world. It's a busy world we live in. Soon. Not PNG.
Excuses.
You're cutting him way too much slack.
Well, that's all I do. Besides that, we have a Facebook, Instagram. You can also follow us at, when we post on occasion. We have a Patreon you can support us at if you like to, where you can get access to a Discord where we will post, we interact. If you get to a high enough, is it $5 a month? You can listen to us record live, so you can hear all the goofs that we make. But having all that been said, once again, I want to thank you all for listening. And now, Muzamil, your final phrase.
Okay. We are in the greatest drought known to man. Okay. Nintendo, this is getting ridiculous. Okay, I cannot survive any longer without any sort of video game news. Okay, I'm literally dying. If we do not get a direct in the next 2 weeks, I will murder Saf. This is a promise, okay? You have 14 days, Nintendo. As of this recording, you have 14 days or Saf gets it!